This is a video to review what was done in Sprint 6 of Release 0, so Sprint 0.0.6. And this sprint was primarily associated with edit and editing in the game, which is new. And you can see a number of tasks I did a number of tasks. A lot of these were behind the scenes. They were database and API changes in the Amazon Web Services. But I want to show what that really related to in the game. This was associated with the first attempt to, right now in the previous release, we had the ability to, the last sprint had the ability for people to place props if they were in their inventory and put them in their own maps and save those custom maps. What this sprint was to say, well, how do they get those props into their inventory? So this is kind of the concept of stores. So again, I clicked Edit Game on the top menu, and now you'll notice I also changed the menu here to say Edit and Edit Game instead of Host. And so if we edit, it will go ahead and it will go to a new level I built, map I've got. And again, you can see here's why I'm not the 3D artist of the group, but here I am in my Ready Player Mirror thing. And I'm in a little furniture store I did here. So this would be a store. I think we'll probably do the store. I'll be working probably with Bluebell. We've talked about that, about doing a store, one of the buildings in the plaza. But on the left-hand side is now I'm in Edit, so it's a green Edit menu is on the left-hand side. If you remember, if I'm hosting a game, I've got a menu that's very similar to this, but it's on the right-hand side and it's gray and has different options. In Edit, one of the options I have is the ability to do props. And so if I look in props, if I'm customizing a map, this is where I grab a prop and put it into the map to customize it. But here I'm in the store, so it says, well, what do you have in your inventory? What I have in my inventory is previously I'd have selected a sofa. So I'm in the store now, and I say, well, I got a sofa, that's cool, but I think I want this chair. So what you do is you click the chair, and it brings up a little menu that says, do you want to add the item to inventory? The item being chair, and it's free. Well, sure, if it's free, I'll add it. And it adds it to the inventory. Now, it's going ahead and adding it into the menu, and it's adding it into some arrays inside of the game. But at the same time, just want to show here what makes this more powerful is the fact that I've got a database now here, and in the database, and I added this sprint, I have a props table, and you'll just see that my Music Oasis, which was a Steam name, added this chair. So it's now in our database, as well as in the menu in the game. So if I go ahead and move him out of here and close and get out of here, I can say, let's get out of the game, let's get out of this, and let's relaunch it. And let's say I'm going to host a game, or I'm going to go ahead now when I have a chair, and I want to take that chair and do something with it. It's in my inventory now, and I'll show the fact that as I log into a whole different session here, I'm going to edit again, I'm going to test, and this time I'm going to go to my Commons area, which you see me go to quite a bit, and I'm just going to normal. I'm in Edit here, and I'll be wanting to say, well, if I click on props, well, you see the sofa and the chair now, so I can click on the chair, and this will be just like it was last sprint. I click on the chair, and there's a chair in inventory, and of course I can move it around and do whatever I want to with it. And then I can save this map as, my new Commons area. So basically what I've done this sprint is added the ability to have props, and have props that are in a store, and you can select it on that store and put it into your inventory. You can't buy it. I don't have any kind of functionality to sell something, but I've got the basic in the game. If we want to add that later on, you can certainly do that. So this is how you would get props that have been put somewhere in the game in a store, and you could go ahead and select those, whether they be freebies. At least now they'll be freebies, and maybe we'll have some gameplay that, you'll be able to, if you go into the store and you've got to hit a certain level, you'll have more items for you to be able to select. So that is, like I said, a lot of things I did behind the scenes in AWS and APIs, and I cleaned up a lot of how inventories work and how they get populated from databases. And I'll make another real quick thing here. I did something also called soft object references. And here's how that does. What happens here is in this database, I identify where in the game, which folder are the items. So I do that for the path to the actual static mesh, the animation I want to apply to it, and also the image I want to show up are all now what are known as soft object references, and that's a key thing going forward that I'll be using to allow me to store information about what I want to do in the game inside of the database, but those assets are actually in the database, and I don't really actually store the static mesh out in a database because that'd be pretty heavy in terms of always downloading static meshes. I just store a reference to those about where does that static mesh live in the game. All right, so that's this sprint. And next sprint we'll be doing more of this, and I'll be also working in the template, trying to come up with ways that a 3D artist could better, update their custom maps, as well as be able to add props to the store as well. So I'm going to start looking at if there's a way to go do that.